Tonight on Hotel Hell.
The Ace of Vegas puts on his best Gordon Ramsay impression in an attempt to find the worst hotel on the Las Vegas Strip. Will he succeed, or have you clicked away from the video already? Find out now.
Is the Ace of Vegas, the Ace of Vegas.
Hey guys, Ace of Vegas here, and I know I usually focus on making your Las Vegas experience the best it can be, but today I'm presenting some words of caution to prevent your Vegas experience from being terrible. Now, for some people, your hotel room in Vegas is just a place to put your luggage and sleep off half your hangover before you drag yourself down to the pool. But as I've grown older, wiser, and discovered that beds are amazing, I've started focusing more on having a beautiful, comfortable room to enjoy when I come back from a show, party, dinner, or what have you. So, as a result, I've asked my entire My Vegas Gifts, Guides, and Giveaway group which Vegas Strip hotel is the absolute worst. And after 578 votes from over 500 participants, I think I've got a good idea. So a few rules before we get started. We've only included mega resorts on the list, so no Cracker Box, roach motels like Motel 6 or Super 8, because you really should already know what you're getting into if you pick one of those. And rule number 2, it has to be on the Vegas Strip or the immediate vicinity, so no Fremont Street or Boulder Highway casinos. Okay guys, so without further ado, Ace of Vegas presents to you the top 11 worst Las Vegas Strip hotels and casinos. Why top 11? Because as you know, I like to go
Even further beyond!
Viva Las Vegas, except for these hotels. Enjoy, Spinners and Sharks. Bally's by Caesars Entertainment. Oh boy, I see where we're going with the standards in this video. Bally's has a complicated history. Originally, it was the first MGM Grand Hotel back when it was first built in 1973. But half a decade after the great MGM Grand Hotel fire in 1980, the hotel was sold to Bally Manufacturing and renamed. A slightly more modern equivalent to the Atlantic City version, Bally still gets kind of a rough rap. It's considered a pretty nice property, with most review sites giving it 4 stars. Most criticism seems to go to the hotel's thin walls, which is going to be par for the course throughout the video. Breakfast is considered average and a bit pricey for what you get, but it certainly has a distinct minority of votes, so it barely makes the number 11 spot. Number 10. The Flamingo Hotel and Casino. Now, the Flamingo Hotel and Casino is also a Caesars property, and it feels a bit unfair because it's certainly a very old property. It was the first of the Las Vegas mega hotels with a history that dates back to 1946, over 70 years ago. It's actively considered to be outdated, and cleanliness is among the chief complaint of TripAdvisor and Hotels.com guests. The pool and general customer service are evidently average at best, but the cleanliness is always a factor when you're looking into a place to lay your head. So the legacy of Bugsy Siegel splashes into the number 10 spot. Number 9. Treasure Island. It seems as if when the pirate shows left Treasure Island, so did all the charm in this Wynn-designed resort. Formerly held by MGM Resorts International, Phil Ruffin purchased it and began to evidently steer the ship in the wrong direction around 2008. This one wasn't on my original list, but we had members actually write it into the ballot and then follow up with a few votes too. Initially this baffled me because Treasure Island has a good location, scenically right next to the Mirage. It's a pretty reasonable price for being center strip, and I always thought it was very pretty. The worst critiques I found were about how horribly smoky the hotel was. There was another complaint about the mini fridge being lukewarm, but that particular member actually enjoys TI, so I don't have much else to say. It's low on the list, so I'd take TI with 9 grains of salt. Number 8. Harrah's. Okay, now this one I get. I had some friends stay at Harrah's while they were at a competitive card game tournament, and they had a miserable time. Relatively overpriced, especially for what they got. I'll cut the hotel some slack because it's over 40 years old, and Caesars just seems to keep it as a slot machine bank. But still, I'm sure the dozens of other Harrah's locations probably have a similar problem, but the Vegas one has a pretty lame pool and could stand some better dining options. And also evidently the beds aren't too comfortable. My friends at Team Outcast really didn't have much of a taste for them. I reminded them that I'm the Ace of Vegas, so next time I'll take them somewhere nice. In the meantime, Harrah's arrives at the number 8 spot on our list. Number 7. Tropicana. So Hilton invested in the 61-year-old Tropicana some years ago, and it's apparently done decently. All things considered, it's not a terrible hotel within of itself, but there are factors that make it painfully average. The location towards the end of the strip is rough, like a lot of MGM hotels. Other criticisms include it being dated, the dusty decor, and a very old smoky casino, and a hit or miss attentiveness with the staff. Generally, it's a pretty strong hotel for the price and the location, but the devil is in the details. Even the pretty pool area doesn't keep Tropicana's number 7 spot lucky. Number 6. Casino Royale. Now, the number 6 spot actually makes sense to me. The Casino Royale technically doesn't have a hotel. It's a hybrid of a Best Western and the classic casino. So this is really a bit of a cheat, and in retrospect, I should have taken it off the list. You can feel free to replace it with an honorable mention that I have before the number 1 spot. It's pretty cheap and has a spectacular location, as well as the cheapest blackjack on the strip, so I'll give it credit there. It lost points with the crowd for being a pretty lousy place to get food, even though there's a lot of things in walking distance, so it's not the end of the world. It's a bit smoky too, and the AC is evidently controlled centrally somewhere. Probably still not a bad place to stay, and frankly, after some research, I'm disappointed that it's so high on the list. But even 007 can't save Casino Royale and Best Western from being number 6. Number 5. The Luxor Hotel and Casino. Now, the Luxor is the very first hotel casino I ever stayed at on the strip, and it was fine, I guess. Very average across the board. It hosts Criss Angel, so it loses points for that, but there are other guests that really don't like the place. One prominent reason is the location. It's pretty far out there. It's the second farthest south hotel on the strip, next to the Mandalay Bay. Quite literally in this case. So it's very difficult to get to a non-MGM hotel or casino without a car or a cab. It's close to MGM Grand and Mandalay Bay on the bright side, but the only other neighbors are a few cracker boxes and the infamous Excalibur Hotel. The rooms themselves are pretty painfully average at best and dated in the pyramid. Also, the actual shape of the hotel makes the rooms a bit smaller, which is disappointing. The whole concept of sleeping in a pyramid should be pretty cool, but the old, poorly maintained decor and lousy housekeeping keeps it higher on the list. They could stand to update the pool and a number of other amenities too. If you're picking a 3-star hotel, you should probably stick with Casino Royale so you're not as disappointed. Criss Angel turns this pyramid into a tomb for number 5. Number 4. Hooters. There are 2 consistently good things I hear about Hooters. Number 1, it's cheap. Number 2, buffalo wings are bangin'. It's all downhill from there though. First things first, Hooters technically isn't even on the strip. It's actually behind the Tropicana and to the east of the south end of the strip, meaning it's a 2 or 3 block trek to the strip just to be on the strip. And even then, you're really just starting with Tropicana or Excalibur. The hotel also gets flack for what's considered a trashy vibe since it's basically one giant Hooters restaurant that happens to have craps and slots. The amenities are pretty sorely lacking for a hotel on the strip, and evidently housekeeping really struggles to keep this place clean. A lot of reviews cited plumbing problems as major hazards during their trip, so Hooters flies right into the number 4 spot. Number 3. The Excalibur. Now this one I definitely understand. The Excalibur Hotel is the same age as me, and actually has fewer fans than this YouTube channel. If I had to use 2 words to describe it, they would be smoky and dated. Granted, the hotel has been renovated recently, but even then, modern reviews don't think it's done the property any good. And it's got a pretty bad location, again on the southern end of the strip. The pool is pretty lame too. A few members even cited very thin walls that started mild altercations with neighboring guests. Another My Vegas Gifts, Guides, and Giveaways member called Excalibur just abysmal. On the bright side, the steakhouse is pretty cool, and I personally do love the Tournament of Kings. If you're into cheesy, goofy, Renaissance fair stuff, then Excalibur might be pretty tolerable for a short stay. If you want a mid to high-end resort experience, load up your horse and ride right past this one. The castle towers atop the number 3 spot. Number 2. The Strat. Changing its name didn't save the Strat, formerly known as the Stratosphere, from taking our number 2 worst spot on our list. It's another kid-friendly casino like Circus Circus and Excalibur, and it's plagued with similar problems. Low ceilings, lots of smoke, bad location. It's so far north that some people don't even consider it a strip casino, but it's not quite downtown either, and it's surrounded by small motels, so it's not easily walkable depending on who you ask. Walls are thin, it's got a pretty low amount of dining options too. If you don't like the 107 Sky Lounge or thrill rides atop of the tower, then this isn't the place to stay. And even if you do take the time to Uber or bus up there, don't stay. Hopefully the new renovations with the Strat's rebranding can take it back to the top of the good list. But right now, it's only high on our list as the number 2 worst hotel on the strip. Honorable mention. Now, before I get to the worst hotel on the Strip, there are a few honorable mentions here, or dishonorable mentions, depends on how you feel about it. The Lucky Dragon Hotel and Casino. This should have been an amazing casino hotel. It's got an East Asian theme, tons of gaming, and authentic Asian food. So why is it so bad? Well, the management really didn't tune the campaign to make it inviting for Western visitors, especially locals, and couldn't capture their Eastern visitors, resulting in a small boutique hotel losing a lot of amenities, including its casino, putting it on our list. It's only open on a technicality now, so Lucky Dragon didn't quite make the cut of being the worst, but it's pretty darn close. Park MGM. Now, the hotel itself is really nice. It's just a bit bland and samey as everything else on the Strip now. Last time I was there, it was still under construction, so I still can't critique the property too harshly. I do have a friend going in April, so I'll ask him and his spouse when they get back. This one did get 1 vote on the survey though, so we put it on the list anyway as an honorable mention. Number 1. The Mirage Hotel and Casino. No? You're not buying it? Is it because you guys already know the Mirage is my favorite hotel? Okay, fine, but you guys already know what the real worst hotel on the Strip is. And the very worst hotel on the Las Vegas Strip is Circus Circus, the dirtiest, most dated, rundown, smoky casino on the Strip. Circus Circus got an overwhelming majority of the votes on our survey. Over 300 of the 570 votes cast went straight to Circus Circus. The next closest was the Strat with 56. It's considered 6 times worse than the Strat. And who can blame people? This MGM hotel is so bad that it doesn't even have an MLive desk. Last time I took a trip there was to visit a mate who was in town the same day as me. His room smelled like sewage, and he had one of the newer tower rooms, not one of the abysmal Crackerbox Manor Motor Lodge rooms behind the actual hotel in the Adventure Dome. He gave up and decided to hang out with me at New York until his flight time 6 hours later. A My Vegas Guides member mentioned that it had an unsafe vibe last time he traveled there. The only praise I've heard for Circus Circus is that Circus Circus blows, but it has one of the best steakhouses in the history of Vegas, a sentiment echoed by a surprising amount of people. So there's that, but even some of the best steak in Vegas isn't enough to save this circus. Circus Circus takes the number 1 spot under the big top. Do you have an opinion on what the real worst hotel on the Las Vegas Strip is? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Otherwise, until next time, Ace of Vegas is signing out. Strong hands and happy spinning, you guys.